Yo, what's up, guys? A video on how to clear the ToaH 200. I already did it on my main account, or my main character, of course. But in this case, I was doing it on one of the side characters for like the quest line and that kind of stuff. And in that case, I cannot overpower it. I have like 340k power, which is the minimum amount that you need to do this thing without a penalty, or you have like the minimum penalty. I think you have the minimum penalty with this. So you have to have more attack than the boss itself, which I think is more than like, or more power than the boss itself if you want to do it with bonus and that kind of stuff. But I think that's about like 440k or some stuff. So if you don't have that, I don't recommend to go for like a bursting mechanic or anything like that. You actually have to go for like a slow clear, as I'm doing right here. In that case, you do need a Chloe. I used a segment and I used a Bastet. Segment is mainly to strip that 9 defense buff that he gives himself from time to time. Chloe is, of course, to get the Fanatic, because my main character, my Kina, would get 2 shot here, pretty much, or even 1 shot. So I have to pretty much do all the stuff with just the characters, or like the side characters. It is sometimes annoying that your unit like kind of fake dies, and then you have to switch it to get it back and that kind of stuff. But as you can see, 346k power. My units do have a decent amount of power, but my Kina has like 40k power, like a little bit above 40k. So how does this run work? How do you kind of want to do it? Well, you're literally just spamming Fanatics, but you want to play it smart that your segment kind of deals with the ads units as well, because these ads, like the Grim Reapers, they stun and stuff. So that is kind of annoying. But you cannot really focus on it too much. Like, you still have to dodge it. I wouldn't recommend to keep your units on F3 at all times. Just use your F3 from time to time to keep the units towards you. But you don't want to have that all the time up, and the main reason for that is because they start stacking on stuns, and that's not really what you want to have. You kind of don't have to dodge the things if you have Fanatic on you and that kind of stuff, but you do need to dodge them if you don't have Fanatic, and those pushbacks and that kind of stuff are pretty annoying. But as you can see, this run did already pretty decent. You're probably going to need a bunch of tries to actually get this run fully working and get your way through with it. So in this case, I'm just letting myself die just to reset it. I think the next run is the run where I actually succeed. So in this case, if your Bastet is like the fake dying all the time, it's probably easiest, or whatever unit's fake dying all the time, it's probably easiest to actually go out and go back in. But in this case, didn't want to. So, what is the key core to this thing, like killing it? It's mainly just trying it a bunch of times, getting feeling for the boss, getting like the feeling of where he places AoEs when, how to dodge things when your Fanatic runs out, because you don't actually see a timer of like how long your Fanatic is. You do need Chloe max skilled. Like, without Chloe max skilled, your Fanatic is shorter, which is definitely not going to happen or to be useful. So in this case, my units get kind of low in HP. What you want to do then is you want to switch off the Chloe towards another unit, so Chloe can actually use her skill itself. That also means you need to have the skill tree that you have at least the 4 seconds to switch the soul link. If you don't have that, you're going to be wasting too much time on the wrong unit, and you cannot use the next Fanatic. But that's one of those tricks to get your healing in while not actually using your healing. You don't want to use your heal ever. You always want to use your mana for the soul link of doing Fanatic. So in this case, it was like, ooh, on my unit support at a wrong spot, but it was actually kind of okay. We have the segment E still pretty far, but it's kind of okay. I was like, yo, I'm out of Fanatic. No, am I going to die on this low HP? I have to dodge the things. So I'm just like, okay, I can attack and stuff, but my units were doing the main thing. Like, I'm just surviving. That was my main gist. So in this case, very low HP, I switched to the segment to just add like the final little bit of damage, and that's where we got it. For Cleave, I'm not entirely sure what's the best. For Cleave, I'm not entirely sure what is the best one to run for like the elements on your weapon. For Orbia, I did it with Orbia Dark always. For this one, I did it with Fire because my units were a lot stronger. You could go for Wind as well to strip the things yourself, and then you maybe don't need a segment, but you could do it with an Argon or something. But I did know the segment Q skill is pretty useful for clearing the AoE wave and that kind of stuff. So afterwards, I'll also go into showing like, okay, what is the actual stats on this? You can see that my Kina is only level 57, so I cannot even have the skill of a 1 second soul link change. So with that, let's see. Yeah, Makina's, okay, it was not 40k, it was 48k power. So if I can do it with 48k power, you can probably do it with enough power as well. Like in this case, my Sekhmet and my Bastet, my Sekhmet is pretty high, my Bastet as well, and my Chloe is near to nothing. Like Chloe is just skilled and Awaken 5, if I'm not mistaken. Bastet and Sekhmet are actually pretty high on the Awakening. I think they're both 15 in their max skilled, both of them. But you don't necessarily need that if you have your main character a lot better than what I had right now. This is just showcasing, like, okay, if your main character is, or you're doing it on a second character, this is a way. But if you're lower on power with like your units, but you have a better main character, it's still pretty doable to get this in. We did some L&Ds, but we got nothing. But let me show you how you can do it if you're way higher in power. So if you're way higher in power, in this case, I'm overpowering the boss, so I'm like 470. In this case, the main thing that you want to do is just go straight for the boss. You just want to kill it right away. Only thing you have to be careful of is like what kind of skills does it do? Like if it starts pushing you back and all of that kind of good stuff, you're not gonna get really anywhere. So you kind of have to be careful with that. The units kind of start dying, and you have this 9 defense buff that comes up pretty fast. There are people that clear this in 7 seconds. I think it is doable, but it's kind of depending on what kind of skills the boss do and if you instantly land everything. But within 7 seconds is really fast. You need like a near perfect run. And like if you get instantly stunned like that, it's not going to happen. So what I notice in a few seconds later is if you just go instantly in, you kind of want to dash through the boss so you don't get stunned, or maybe just one of your units gets stunned. So therefore you can start doing some damage more right away. But even then, if you get pushed, it just gets pretty slow. But is this a successful run? Yeah, this is a successful run. So it's stripped by the Sekhmet, and then I can start spamming Argony, and then he dies pretty quick. So that is pretty much the other way to kill this. But you need to heavily overpower this, and you're probably not going to be able to get this on your first clear unless you're already quite some on the power. Wait, this is where I also check the people that have the highest ranks, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so people in the highest ranks, stats aren't that crazy, but 7 seconds is very crazy. I guess you need like the perfect rotation for stuff to work at the whole thing. Like, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. But I think it is probably also better to just not use Sekhmet, because I think Sekhmet is not that useful, because if you actually want to go for a 10-second clear, the boss doesn't go for its skill yet until like about like 13 seconds. So in that case, like a second damage dealer like a Naomi or a Helia would actually be more beneficial than that. But as you can see, like this run was pretty good, but I lack about just a little bit damage to actually clear it like super fast. And the defense buff comes up, and then it takes like what, 16, 17 seconds. And apparently I didn't even notice, like if these ads are still alive, then you don't clear the thing, which I didn't even know, like, not gonna lie. So yeah, I did a few more tries. I think I did a try with Halia later as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so with Halia, like I was like, okay, is this actually doable to get 7 seconds? But yeah, is it? I don't know. Like in this case, my Halia kind of fake died or something, I don't know, but yeah, this will take quite some tries if you actually want to get like a 10-second run, but is it clearable like this? Definitely is, definitely is. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get like proper rotation, get used to the boss, to just dodge the first few things, and that way. So once again, I really recommend going for the Chloe route. For bolts on the units, like a lot of people often ask, like, okay, what bolts are you using? My Sekhmet was attack, damage, attack, rage blade. You do want to have a decent amount of accuracy. My Bastet was triple HP on double endure. No, wait, double energy endure. Just a lot of HP. So the shields are pretty nice. And I think my Chloe was actually on a similar set, like just a lot of HP. So something like that. You could also go for your Chloe for like foresight or something like that. But I guess the main things that you really care about is Bastet's shield being really strong, Sekhmet doing enough damage, and then your Chloe just being there, having enough power. Chloe, once again, you just need 5 Awaken. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, like this video and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next one. let's see if you can make it for a ToaH 200 in the current rotation.